What I love about New Albany is the 4th of July parade.
Sports.
Starbucks. My other home.
Very supportive to my business, and I think businesses in the area kind of all look out for each other.
Everything.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. Dave, welcome to the show, White Fence Living Podcast, and welcome to your podcast studio.
Thanks. Welcome in. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been awesome. It's been so I think this is episode 3 or 4 for us, and the studio's been great. The response has been awesome, and everybody at Brickhouse Blue's been super supportive. So
It's good to hear.
Let's jump into Brickhouse Blue. How'd you start it? Why'd you start it? Where'd the idea come from? Just tell us about Brickhouse Blue and its start.
Yeah, I think I'll even maybe take it a page before that just to kind of give it some context, because what this is and what it's intended to be, I think, allows for everyone's story that you'll probably hear as you talk to other entrepreneurs or small businesses, that it came from something not in the moment, but something from in the past.
Yeah.
That's always kind of been there. So for me, going to college, I was there for all the other reasons besides why you're probably supposed to be there. I wasn't a school guy. I was more of a, what does the world teach you? What do cultures teach you? What does just everyday success look like? Where are there problems? Where can you find solutions? And so I spent a lot of my time in that space, and so I probably wasn't the right person to go to college. I was probably somebody that should have just started into the real world right out of high school. But I went there for sports, and so it led to finishing my education, et cetera. But my point is, I ended up being in the career of recruiting, which, again, there isn't a degree for that. So I came out and was in staffing in an agency world, and rolled myself into the corporate side for about 20 years. But the whole time in being involved in that, I was really there to help people. Recruiting is identifying talent, understanding people's core behaviors. Who are you? How are you wired? And then how do I get you to the right position versus the position that you applied to? And so in all that, I was always in the back of my mind thinking, what else do I want to do while I'm helping these people? And so I always was doing, and we can talk about it later on, AAU basketball along the way for the past 17 years after work, again, helping young kids. But when I left in 2015 from Discover Card, it was finally that blank slate of now what? And to continue on that algorithm of helping people, the next step was like, how do you help businesses, right? And so the idea was, well, what if we created our own space that would allow businesses to think the way I've always thought, like, hey, where if you could have an actual space to let your brain get away from the everyday norms of society and think just a little bit different. So started the concept of Brickhouse Blue with my partner, Cid Romberg. She was also a former executive on the marketing side at Cardinal Health. And her son had played in AAU with my son. And so we had a conversation about having our own space and what that could look like. And so we sat down, put a business plan together, and that was in 2016. And here we are.
Wow. So, yeah. So where'd the name come from? I got Brickhouse Blue.
Yeah. So it all kind of ties together. So as an AAU program, every year when we would launch our new season, I would come up with a theme to put on the back of the practice jerseys that was kind of a reminder. And I kind of stole it from Urban Meyer when Urban Meyer was at Ohio State with football. He always had a different mantra. And so the one year we put on the back brick by brick. And the moral of the story there is to help parents understand that little Johnny and little Sally aren't going to the NBA or WNBA tomorrow. So let the process take place. Let us help build your son or your daughter brick by brick and let them become who they're supposed to be, which, again, back to recruiting. When you're interviewing people, you know that people are who they are. They're wired a certain way. They were born with certain core behaviors. Don't make them something they're not.
Yeah.
And so I always believed in that concept of, brick by brick, step by step. And so when we started to build out this company, the name Brick by Brick really wasn't the sexiest name to put out there, but I knew that what Cid and I were about were building, people, talent, companies, brick by brick. And so We moved to Brickhouse. Maybe it's a community that houses this process of, brick by brick. But brickhouse.com was taken, so we had to find a different alley. And so we were actually with our architect, WSA, shout out to them. And there was another company that they were working with, and their logo was on the wall, and I think it was Bonfire Red. And I think they're a marketing company. And it hit me like, well, what if we used a color? And so Sid and I looked up blue, and it stands for innovation. And we're trying to help people think big, blue ocean, blue sky. And so we slapped the word blue on the back. We knew awesome. It was not going to resonate well in the state of Ohio with the Buckeyes, but
just don't put maize in.
Yeah, just don't put maize in blue. But so there you go. So that's how
that's awesome. And Dave, we've only met a few times, man. Yeah. I can just tell how genuine you are about really building up people, right? Like I could tell that that's at your core is, just in the brief times that we've talked is like, you've even offered me help already. How can I help you? Like how? So I can tell the name is fitting. It's good to know now. Brickhouse, building those bricks, it makes complete sense. So I've never heard that story. I don't know if anybody has. I'm sure they have, but
well, even the symbols. So there's the square, the triangle, and the circle. So the actual square is that brick, right? It's that the ability to have that core foundation. The triangle was kind of like the shape of a peak of a home. So nice. There's your house. Okay. So there's the brick house. So we're helping build culture and community brick by brick in this foundation under this roof. And then the circle is continuous learning, continuous growth. So again, blue sky, blue ocean, everything is endless. And that's how we want our small businesses and entrepreneurs to think when they come in here, that like everything's possible. Yeah. Right. And if we can help with that, if our staff can help support you, whether it's a good day, bad day, and they're there to pick you up, whether we can connect you with other resources within this community to say, hey, you don't know what you don't know. Like I've learned that along the way that I'm good at some things, but there's a lot that I'm not. Yeah. And so to identify the right people to support you, because you're not a 500 person company or a big six firm or Fortune 500. You're a 1, 2, 3 person shop, and so everybody's wearing a lot of hats. But you're not the best person for some of these things that requires to be successful.
For sure. I mean, we were just talking about it with podcasting. I like the editing stuff. I mean, I'm learning, but Well, I'm learning all of it. But I think it's awesome, and that ties into a question I had later. But so Innovate New Albany. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of New Albany residents have heard of Innovate New Albany. We've heard of the Tiger Talks. So like, how does Brickhouse Blue tie into that? And so what is that like journey with this location here in New Albany been like?
Yeah, I and this is a credit to Neil and Jennifer. Neil and I met probably in 2019 when he was doing some of the Tiger Talks over here in their prior space, and he came over to Brickhouse Blue, sat down with us, and we tried to figure out how to expand. How do we bring the Tiger Talks into what we're doing now with our space? And as we were formulating that, he'd just done such a great job in the New Albany community that I think it was hard to uproot people to move and drive over to Dublin too. So we're trying the alternate schedule, and then COVID came along, and so it just never really took off. But there was always conversations with Neil about how do we bring this style of information to people that could use it. And then Jennifer and I actually met right after we opened in Dublin, 2018. I came over and met with her and her staff in the offices over here, and we were trying to figure out where could this go, where can this concept branch out into this community, because you're talking about innovation already, but again, maybe the building or the stimulation of stuff around it wasn't there. So we kind of hashed it out, and just nothing was right. And I don't mean by relationship, I mean just identifying a space that we felt like was worth investing in. So fast forward to last December, and Jennifer called and said, "Hey, I think we're going to need to find some space, and we would like to partner with you." And I'm like, "Finally, I'm ready. Like, let's do this." I've been wanting to be a part of it, because look at all the communities around Columbus. There's coworking there. And New Albany really didn't have a presence in that, and it was always a head scratcher. Like, why not? So to have the ability to bring what we do along with what Innovate New Albany Tiger Talks has, I think is right now probably the best formula in all the suburban communities within Columbus right now, between co-working, innovation, and just general knowledge giving and things like that. So
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? You've got all these great startups and small businesses, in particularly technology. I mean, yeah, why not create a space where they can all physically be together?
Yep.
I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. Cool. So, what's next for Brickhouse Blue? Well, so there's going to be 4 locations, right?
So we currently have 4.
Have 4. Okay.
Yeah. So we have the 2 Dublin locations. We quickly grew out of our space in Bridge Park and pulled in another one in 2020, right when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then we opened up Plain City almost 2 years ago. Yeah, actually, 2 years ago here today. We're close to it. And then the New Albany location.
Awesome.
So next up, we have partnered with Equity, and we will be building a new build in Hilliard at the new True Point project off of 270. So it's a little mini Bridge Park, hotels, restaurants. It'll be right next door to ADS headquarters. They've been a great partner with us at our current Dublin location, hosted a lot of meetings there. And I think, and this is a shout out to our staff and team, they've done such a great job of hosting them that ADS, and part of this negotiation with Equity Business Partners was like, hey, we want Brickhouse Blue to be here. So however that could look, we want them next to us. And so that was great to hear. And speaking with Steve Wathan and Austin Wathan about coming into their project, is to know that we wanted to be there, but we were also wanted at the same time. So
yeah, it's funny as I bring people in to see it, and it's like you walk in the space and you're instantly like, man, I could see myself using this. Like, this makes sense. Like, this is. So I'm not surprised that people that utilize the space, see the environment, the culture around it, that they want to be a part of it. I mean, it's kind of infectious.
Yeah, I mean, we're not perfect. I mean, I don't think anybody will claim that they are. And this is our 8th year, and so over time we've learned a lot. Do I wish we could start over and do some things differently? Absolutely. But I think what's been great about our team is the flexibility that they have to know that we're always going to be changing. We're never going to just stick with the standard of mediocrity or status quo. And so we've done, I think, a really good job of finding all the small things that make a difference in somebody's experience with us at Brickhouse Blue, whether it's a meeting or a coworker or office user. And so now we've kind of created these perfect formulas to take into new spaces, not just from once we open the doors, but prior to that, how the space is built out. What do people really want? What's the future look like for co-working versus just, I think a lot of spaces just plug and play.
Yeah.
It's a current space, paint the walls, slap some furniture in there, put somebody at the front desk, and let's hope it works. That's just not who we are.
No, I mean, it's definitely I've been in other co-working spaces. It's not the same. It's just not. It's not your typical co-working space. Not that I have a ton of experience in them, but
yeah,
there's a few I've been in. This one's definitely different. So, let's talk AAU basketball or youth sports in general.
Yeah.
So I've got 4 kids that all play youth sports. I coach all of them. So I'm coaching softball, lacrosse. I'm coaching wrestling, football. So I know how big that your AAU program has got. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started our current program, which is Midwest Basketball Club. It was Mid-Ohio Pumas for many years, and started in 2009. So I started with my oldest son when he was in 2nd grade. He's now graduating from Miami this next weekend.
Wow. Congrats.
Thank you. So you can kind of see where the journey started and where we're at.
Yeah.
Really it was just one team of kids that were baseball players, and we were coming out of the baseball season, which was like T-ball or something like that, and a great group of families. We enjoyed being together, hanging out, taking the kids to restaurants, and being adults. Later on in the evening, kind of having fun. So we thought, all right, how do we keep this together? And I was one of the few basketball savants on the parent group. And so I said, well, I'll coach them. Let's get into this. Let's figure this out. I knew where I didn't want my kids to play, and there weren't a lot of great options in the AAU scene in Columbus.
Yeah.
And AAU, just for the listeners, it's basically travel basketball. So we created our first team and had a lot of success. We went and played in the LeBron James, King James Classic up in Akron, which is 700 teams around the country, and finished second. And so all of a sudden we're like, wow, we want to be onto something here. And again, getting their third graders, and I've learned a lot from that too. Like we were like, yeah, we're so awesome. We were playing 13 tournaments in the spring. Now we play like 7. So we lived and learned there as well. But I think by just doing things the right way, which is what I've always been about, like just start from the beginning the right way, and you may not make the most money from it, you may not make the most friends from it, you may not have the most success, but just you'll feel better at night putting your head on the pillow that you did it the right way. And so I think through that, a lot of high school coaches who had sons that were playing the sport said, hey, I like how you guys are teaching these kids and playing. Can I bring my son and our team over to be a part of what you're doing? And never was my intention. Yeah. But I'm like, sure. So the next thing you know, I look up, and in 5 years, we are at 28 teams. At year 10, we're probably at 100 teams. We moved into girls as well. And then here we are, year 17, and we're close to 200 teams. We're in Michigan, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, and probably Louisville next year. And I think we actually have a couple teams now down in Charleston, West Virginia. So we're trying to reach as many youth as possible. We typically have around 2,000 kids try out for our club. So I think the word's gotten out that, and we try to target, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, we target the moms.
For sure.
Because we know that a lot of times they're the ones that are involved in getting them to and from, or planning at least for the family. And they want structure, they want communication, they want to know where they need to be and what time. And they want to make sure their kids are taken care of and they're safe. So I think that's a big reason why we've grown to the level we've gone.
Are there other programs like it? Like, were there other big programs like that? I mean, at the time?
There were other programs that were sponsored by, Nike or Adidas. We are now an Adidas-sponsored program, and we're one of the largest in the country. There weren't probably anybody to our scale.
Yeah.
Indiana Elite is a program over in Indiana that's probably the equivalent to us from that size.
Okay.
And so, again, a lot of people think that it's just you're grabbing kids and doing things. What they don't know is that, we have D leagues. So through our tryouts, we don't take every kid.
Yeah.
I specifically tell parents, like, this isn't for everyone, and you shouldn't pay money to be a part of something that your kid's not going to have an opportunity to play as a 9th player. Just because he's 6'2" and he's a 5th grader.
Yeah.
So we created our D League years ago that allows kids and parents to say, don't do the travel, don't spend money on hotels, don't pay the cost of these fees. Take your son to our training and our development on Sunday nights. Let him play baseball, let him play soccer, let him do other sports, but let them keep a ball in their hand and have an opportunity to continue to get better and make their middle school team, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of, I don't know, like youth sports, travel, I'm passionate about it, of course. Mm-hmm. So I was a collegiate athlete, and just it seems like recently you see a lot of kids kind of get pigeonholed into one sport. Mm-hmm. They spend all their time there. They focus on that, and I just worry, like, how does that end up in the end, right? So what if that sport doesn't work out, and they haven't been exposed to anything else, right? So in your experience, like, just touch on that with kids that you could tell are going to be basketball players and that's what they want to focus on. And there's nothing wrong with that. But talking about that D League, like, have you had kids that have gone through that league and end up on a travel team? Like, have you seen that success story?
Yeah, that happens a lot. And I think the parents, and the players, I think a little bit when they're told, like, you didn't make a travel team, but here's another opportunity. It may feel a little bit of shame at first, but I can tell you 95% of the time when these 6 or 8 sessions are over, that the parent is like, thank you.
Yeah.
This is exactly what he needed or she needed. He's gotten better. I'm glad I didn't spend all this money. And now we're ready for what's next. Because you don't have to, again, back to brick by brick. It's a process.
Yep.
Don't rush it. Yeah. Let it happen organically, and good things will happen. And to your multi-sport thing, ironically, I just tweeted this yesterday. Jack Sawyer was one of our first players. Started with us as a third grader with my son, and played with us all the way up to his sophomore year before he really focused on football. But Jack probably could have played in the Major League Baseball. He was a hell of a baseball player. Jack was a all-state basketball player until he tore his ACL. And so he probably could have played basketball at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Now, he's a rare specimen, know, and here he is being drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers this past weekend as a defensive end. But, Jack figured out a way to play all three and was very successful. So I worry, though, in today's world with the NIL, with athletes now being paid, that I think kids are just going to find a sport and find a brand, because that's part of it now.
Of course.
Social media, Instagram, reels, videos, it's all part of it.
Yeah.
And these kids are on display all the time. And so I could see more and more kids picking one sport, knowing that if I'm good at this, I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars,
if not millions.
If not millions, as a college athlete.
Yeah. Which they're all the anomaly, right? I mean, 99.9% of these kids in youth sports, like, that's it, right? It's, not many people go on after high school.
Yep.
So yeah, I really want the kids that I coach or that I'm involved with, like, learn to love the sport, learn to, all the other things that go along with sport, and genetics will likely determine whether you're going to get to the next level or not. Not to say you shouldn't work on your craft, like, that's not, but just to enjoy the time you're in now. Like, the memories of playing youth baseball. I mean, I still think about, and I wasn't a big youth baseball, but I still remember youth baseball, or high school football. I didn't go on, I ran track in college, I didn't play football. But those memories, I didn't even think about playing in college. One, I wasn't big enough or good enough, but I'm glad that I just absorbed, like, that experience with my friends and just in general. So, I want to see, I hope that more parents are, I love to see parents that have that perspective, not I'm going to go pay $1 zillion to make my kid the best soccer player in the world and ruin that experience for that kid.
Yeah. I don't know how to provide the right advice to someone. Like, you kind of know, like, you don't know early on, but you do know. Like, I've seen enough. It's been 17 years. I've got 800 alumni. I know at 7th grade, unless a kid changes his body and changes, you kind of know, like, that's a Division I athlete.
Yep.
And the others, I'm not saying they're not, but they got a lot of work to do. And to tell them that would be crushing a dream. And I'm not about that. I wish if parents or players would say, just give me an honest evaluation, and you can give it and let them do with it what they want. But no one wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if your kid's going to be 5'10" in basketball, just look at the metrics, look at the data. I mean, and that's what's great about college sports now, is that you can look that up. You can see the number of guards that were below 6 foot that played Division I basketball. Not a lot.
No.
And so you've got to have something else. And it's not to say you shouldn't play basketball in high school.
Yeah.
I'm all about winning state championships. Like, I think the focus should be that. And if you're good enough because of your success in high school and you can play in college, awesome.
Yeah.
But to go after it just to be a college athlete, I think is the wrong approach.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. My son Vinny, so my wife and I are very big. My wife's a little Italian girl. I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. And, like, I tell my son, and I don't know if this is the right thing or not, but I tell him, like, you go to New Albany, it's a Division I school. Look at your parents, look at your grandparents. Like, you're not going to be a big kid. I was 160 soaking wet in high school. And I tell him that so that he understands how hard he's going to have to work to do it. I'm not telling him you can't do it. I'm just saying you're not going to have it as easy as some other kids, because you're not going to be as big. So you're going to have to work twice as hard. You're going to have to learn the game. You're going to have to, and so right now, like, he does workouts every night, every single night. He's doing sit-ups, push-ups, crunches. Yep. We're doing, like, speed training. Like, he's working his tail off now, and I just keep beating it. Like, I just keep telling him, you're just going to have to work that much harder.
Yep.
And maybe get a shot, right?
Yep. Well, and if anything, the worst thing that happens is he put in discipline and work ethic, right?
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
going to make him a great, leader, a great husband, a great, employee. And those are attributes you can't, it's hard to make somebody have later in life.
For sure. for sure. Well, I could go on sports forever.
Yeah.
Dave, I appreciate your time. When the idea of the podcast first came up, and it was like, all right, we got to get podcast equipment. I'm like, that's maybe that's not the best way to do it. And so then I learned that this was here, checked it out. Nia gave us a tour. I was like, this makes complete sense. And I told Nia, I was like, well, like, who founded this? Like, how did this start? And she's like, oh, Dave. You got to interview Dave. I'm like, that'd be great. So you're the first person we thought of for the show. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. And again, I want to make sure that I'm here representing Brickhouse Blue. My partner Cid, she's doing some traveling. She is an equal entity in the success of this, and probably even now, even in the past couple of years, my wife Susan has taken the reins of the operational side and of this to allow Cid to do other things with her side career, for me to work on expansion in other locations with like Lancaster coming, Findlay coming, hoping to get a deal done for the Estrella building downtown. So I think it's important to know that Brickhouse Blue just isn't. I'm the speaking puppet right now.
Yeah.
It's not just me, and and to our staff, like you've experienced it. At least even the New Albany staff, but the Dublin and Plain City team as well. It's just we couldn't be more pleased and fortunate to have the type of people that we have representing our brand as Brickhouse Blue.
Yeah, it's awesome. Dave, thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Be sure to follow us on social media for news, updates, everything that's happening in New Albany. You can visit whitefencelivingpodcast.com. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode of White Fence Living.
What I love about New Albany is the holiday tree lighting.
I love the Heights Center.
The walkability and convenience.
My favorite part of New Albany is you.